Hello everyone, thank you for watching Mad Trucks with Marcos. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We are going to do a video on this Jeep that we built here, but I'm going to go through and talk specifically about some of the parts that we used to be able to fit a 35-inch tire without lifting this Jeep up. So this is a new package from 777 Customs that we have. It is called the Low Center Gravity Package. So I'm going to go talk about the Aries products that we have on this Jeep. They're the ones that made it happen to fit the 35s on there. So I'm going to go through, I want to talk about some of the stuff and let you guys check it out. So if you could do me a huge favor, subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more cool videos, and you can see any of our custom vehicle inventory at kunescountrytrucks.com. Alrighty guys, so like I mentioned, this is a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. This one actually is a 2016. This one belongs to an employee who sells Jeeps over at the Chrysler store. His name is Chad. Very knowledgeable when it comes to the Wranglers. Obviously this is his Wrangler, so he definitely has a passion for them. So if you're sick of going to your local Jeep dealership and getting someone that doesn't know Jeeps, care about Jeeps, anything like that, give Chad a call at our Kunes Country of Elkhorn Dodge Jeep Ram store, and he will get you taken care of. All right, so like I said, 2016 Jeep Wrangler. He did go with the Rubicon package. He wanted an off-road capable Jeep, so he went with the Rubicon. And then, like I mentioned, this has no lift with 35-inch tires. Chad had seen a lot of we have been using a lot of Aries Fender Flares on our Jeeps. He really liked the look of those, and I'm like, hey man, you know, what if you could fit a 35-inch tire without having to lift it? And he's like, oh, that'd be perfect. You know, he wants that tire, he wants this look, didn't necessarily want a lifted Jeep. So at the front of this, this is Aries' new modular aluminum bumper. So really nice. As you see it right now, it's fully set up. So it's got the top tube, it's got the tow hooks, it's got the winch plate. The factory, well actually his weren't factory anymore, he had gone in and replaced them to an LED, but factory fog lamps do fit back into this bumper, so really nice there. But my favorite thing about this bumper, aside from how awesome it looks, is that so this end cap can actually come off. This can actually come off and you can replace it with just a cap on the end, and then this same bumper looks like a stubby bumper. In a week or two you will see another Jeep Wrangler that we put 37s on. That one has the same exact bumper on it, but without the bars on top, without the stubbiness, or without the end caps, no tow hooks. It does have this one. So if you get tired of the look of your bumper, couple bolts, you can completely change the look. Most people aren't going to think it's the same bumper. They're going to think you completely swapped out bumpers. So for the customizability of it, it's really nice to be able to pull the end cap off, make it a stubby bumper, or make it a full width bumper, depending on what you're doing. If you want to drive around on the road, you like this look, great. If you're going off on the trail and you know, you don't want the stuff on there, you can take it off. It would obviously protect the Jeep by having it on here. But really nice products. The aluminum bumper, if you picked up a steel bumper for a Jeep Wrangler and then you picked up some of these parts, it's a world of a difference. By doing these bumpers and flares, we're really not even adding much weight to this Jeep. The factory flares and bumpers don't weigh anything, but these, they're made out of aluminum, so they're very light. That's also going to help us with rust. Up here in Wisconsin, we do have to worry about rust. So having them made out of aluminum is awesome. And then they have this really neat powder coating texture that's on here. It matches on the flares, it matches on the bumper, it matches on the rock rails or running boards. So really nice that they have that here. Like I mentioned, it does have the cutouts for the fog lamps in the front. It does also have spots for lights down here if you're really going to go off-roading and you want it to have lights all around and covering you. It does have spots for that, so really cool there. I really dig this front bumper, and like I said, it opens it up, because we could do just a stubby bumper on a Jeep. Somebody wants a full width bumper, instead of having to switch your bumpers out, we can just order up the end caps and do that. So really neat there. It's a really nice bumper. Chad's super happy with it. He's really ecstatic. All right, so moving around to the side here. So this is Aries aluminum front fender flare. If you've watched our videos, you know we've done a lot of these in the past, but I can't stress how nice they are compared to some of the other stuff out there. It's just the fit and finish is nice. It fits right up on there. Really not a ton of fabrication that goes into installing these, which is really nice. A lot of people, you know, with a little time, a little effort, you'd be able to install this in your garage. It's one of those things that, you know, just it adds a lot of look to the Jeep. In this scenario, it also adds functionality because the factory flare, you know, is going to come down about that much. As soon as this tire moves up and down, it would tear off that factory flare. So by having this flat style flare, it allows us to run this 35-inch tire. So this is a true 35 by 12.5 by 17 tire. I'll talk a little bit more about those later, but a lot of people, this is the size of tire they want on a Jeep Wrangler, and a lot of people end up lifting them just to fit that tire. A lot of people base their lift off what size tire they want to run. So this scenario, in fact, you can run a 35 on a stock Jeep Wrangler suspension. It's really awesome. One, it's a cool look. You know, it's low, wide, mean looking. The other thing it does is it keeps your center of gravity low. So the low center of gravity build, that's the name of this package. The idea is to keep the Jeep as low as possible, but still increasing the suspension travel. So with the 35, this is going to be able to flex out pretty much all the way, and it's not going to rub. We can turn the steering wheel all the way in a parking lot like this, turn it all the way, and it doesn't rub at all. A lot of that has to do with picking the right offset and back spacing on the wheels. If you want more specific information on that, we can definitely get it for you. But this is a 4.5-inch back spacing, -12 offset on a 17-inch wheel. So that's kind of perfect for what we want on this build. Wheels and tires stick out about 2 inches from the side, so it gives you that aggressive look. But it's not rubbing on the frame rail, which does happen on these Jeep Wranglers once you do that. Again, to match the front bumper, it's got the powder-coated texture on it, which we've seen on all of the Aries Fender Flares, and they're really nice. We really like it. While you're looking here, I will mention we don't have an inner fender liner in there yet. Reason being is Chad's super thrilled with all the Aries stuff that he's put on there already, and they do have a new inner fender liner that's coming out. You know, depends on when you're watching this video, it might already be out, but right now it's going to be out in about a month. So he's holding off on getting those because he really likes how they work. And this is a good example because you can see without an inner fender liner, you know, you can see how much stuff is exposed. Your starter's there, you know, your firewall's up here, you have fuse boxes up there. So there's a lot of stuff exposed here, and on the other side there's actually a big circuit board thing that sits right here that controls your headlights, fog lights, blinkers, that kind of stuff. So you can see the inner fender liner, especially in an off-road scenario, is going to protect that. It also, once we stick that in there, it's going to make this wheel well look a lot cleaner. But yeah, we're really excited to test out that inner fender liner. He pretty much as soon as it becomes available, he's going to order it up and get that. So you will see that in the future. That's why they are not on there yet. But yeah, I can't say enough about the flares. Like I said, we've done a lot of them, have had 0 issues with them, and all my customers have been super ecstatic with them. So moving along to the side. So this is Aries' new rocker step. Really nice. I mean, he actually had rock rails on here before. If you're doing heavy duty wheeling, the rock rails are definitely the way to go. If you're doing moderate off-roading and want, you know, actually want a step, this is the way to go because you get that real off-road look. And don't get me wrong, I mean, these are still very strong, and I believe this is actually the only Aries part on this Jeep that is not aluminum. These are steel. So as far as strength, I mean, they're still going to protect the body of the Jeep from stuff coming up. So you don't have to worry about that. But also, I mean, it's a nice step. One, I mean, if it's someone that needs help getting into the Jeep, it's going to make that real easier. If you're trying, you know, you have a rack or something, you're trying to get on top, it makes that a lot easier. But as you can tell, they're very sturdy. Again, the powder coating matches perfectly with the rest of the Aries stuff, which on a Jeep like this, you know, you want it to look nice and clean. So when you go around and all the stuff is the same texture, it's one of those things sometimes people don't pick up on right away, but they notice it whether they realize it or not. So really nice to have that. They have the Aries logo aired out on here. They also have it on the front bumper and on the back bumper. But yeah, I really like these. They are a little shorter than what the factory rock rails are. This actually had the factory Rubicon rock rails, and they were really close to rubbing on this back tire. If we didn't have this, we either would have had to, you know, modify the factory one if we weren't going to purchase another, you know, running board. So the fact that we could just throw this on there and it's already made to the length that we need is perfect. Works really well with the 35s. There's still plenty of room probably to throw 37s on there. On the back at least, not on the front with its current setup. But yeah, so I really like these. These are very nice. They're pretty much fully powder coated all the way through, so they're definitely going to last a long time. So flares on the back. The texture again is the same on the front. The flares on the front are really nice because they come out a little wider. I like the ones on the rear because they're a little more narrow, which kind of gives it a nice stance. But again, yeah, I like how it they fit really nice on the body of the Jeep. There are rivet certs that go on with installing these. That's really the hardest thing. But realistically, once you get the hang of it, they go in and there's no problems there. So we really like these flares. Again, they match really well with all the other Aries stuff that they have on there. But yeah, it lets us run this big tire key, the stock suspension. Front and back, this is all stock, so on the suspension. And for us, I mean, there's obviously a nice thing there that you don't have to spend extra. You know, you can take the cost that you would have spent on suspension and throw it at wheel flat. You know, throw it at body work that you can actually see. So it kind of, to me, opens up to people that, you know, if you didn't want a lifted Jeep Wrangler because you've heard horror stories of how it drives, this and that, you know, out of warranty, whatever, this is the way to go. The drivetrain stock, powertrain, you know, it's all ready to go. It's going to be very reliable. And it has the look, I mean, most people, if we didn't tell them, they would just assume this is a lifted Jeep. So it's really cool if you have been thinking of, you know, I like my Jeep Wrangler, I don't really want to make it any taller because of X reason. This really, I mean, only gets lifted up total about 1 inch from the bigger wheels and tires. It's not a whole lot. So it's not, you know, right after it got built, I went with Chad on a ride and we drove it and he's like, man, this is awesome. It drives just like it did stock. And that's great. You know, the only thing, if you really want to start to get into the details, you could still upgrade the steering stabilizer shock and it's definitely not going to hurt at all just from having the wider tire on it. But yeah, all around, super happy with this stuff. And then we'll move on to the back bumper. So this back bumper, it is a modular design again, just like it was on the front. So we could take these end caps off if we wanted to. I will note, he already had an exhaust on this Jeep when we ordered this bumper. Those holes on the exhaust, they do fit perfectly on the one side with the stock exhaust. And I forgot what company it was, but there is an exhaust that's going to fit right in there. So yeah, that's one of the things. We are going to modify the exhaust on this particular one to fit in the holes. But just wanted to point that out. If you have a factory exhaust, it is going to come out on the passenger side over there. But yeah, basically we're just going to modify the exhaust and stretch out the center section a little bit so those end up being a dead center on the cutouts. But overall, I really like the design. You know, the cutouts they have here match the cutouts on the front. It's a really good look for the Jeep. You know, it looks really aggressive. And yeah, I don't remember what the exact weight on this was, but you could pick this front bumper up with one hand and it's, you know, it's not very heavy, which is really nice on this stuff. You could add, if you added steel bumpers, steel fenders, you know, steel everything to this, you could add 500-600 pounds pretty easily. So the fact that we maybe added 50 to 100 pounds on body work is great there. Wheels and tires add weight as well, but as far as on the body, there's really not too much that's being done. So yeah, really ecstatic with the Aries products that we have on this Jeep. They turned out really well, and you'll definitely see a lot more low center of gravity projects coming from us. It's going to be really popular. So I do want to mention, if you see some other little custom stuff on this Jeep, Chad has been working on it. You know, if it's a project, a lot of these Jeeps are never really done. So pretty much every single light on the exterior of this Jeep's been done LED, smoked out in black, and then he's got the exhaust, cold air intake, a couple other things just to make it his own Jeep. But yeah, like I mentioned, if you are sick of a salesperson that is not an enthusiast, please give Chad a call. He obviously loves this stuff and he would love to work on your project with you. So any questions you have about this, please let us know. Have a great day, guys.